Second episode in, and we kick things off by introducing you to our first recruits to Burnley Football Club. Firstly, we welcome our new pair of coaches, Teddy Sheringham, who's going to focus on improving our attack going forward, and Tony Adams, an Arsenal legend, who will strengthen our defending so we never concede a goal again. Before we get to the first pre-season game, we also acquired two players that may look like controversial signings at first, but you've got to trust the system here. Chuck is the first player that has signed under my wing. He's definitely one for the future, though I wouldn't be surprised if he played some games to stir up the opposition with 19 aggression. That is the only reason he got picked up, to be fair. To make up the numbers, I also got Kai Knight early, an 18-year-old determined centre-back that will tower over any forward that tries to head the ball. I see this 6'7" monster leading the Burnley defence in 10 years' time. The game saw that I was about to rock the world with my fresh regime, so they decided to give me an early handicap to make it fair. Ashley Barnes, one of the four pillars of the squad, has torn his knee ligaments in training that will rule him out of action for the next 3 months. Not only a massive blow to the squad quality, but also expect the morale of the squad to be at an all-time low here. With Ashley Barnes dropping dead only a day before this game, we had to make some emergency adjustments. I slapped Lennon in the striker position in hopes he can score goals by simply running, which opened up the right mid position for our new signing, Aggro Chuck. The game got off to a cracking start with no highlights on extended settings. Instead, we were given more handicaps as J-Rod and Dwight McNeil got rinsed off the pitch. Our attacking options were getting targeted as if playing Lennon up front wasn't bad enough. We got Westwood involved as well as a 16-year-old kid that I fetched from the academy. The game continued to absolutely shit on me as the second pillar of the squad, Jack Cork, picked up a knock just as we unleashed our first 2 shots of the game. A few minutes on, we won a free kick, perfectly executed by Westwood, who launched the ball to Ben Gibson, and the rest is history, leading 1-0 with a makeshift team, yes please. After I was forced to sub out Jack Cork, the highlights consisted of 2 pretty bad long shots from them and an absolute scorcher from Sparvey that left Nick Pope standing still. After all, a 1-1 result against the top Danish club isn't particularly bad, especially with the injuries that occurred. Fortunately, all the injuries that happened in that game were fairly minor. J-Rod's was the worst, with the return being due in just over a week, which I can handle. Next transfer update, we are starting to bring in some massive names to the club. Matt Ritchie coming in thick and fast with a 13 million price tag. This guy can do absolutely everything on either wing. He is the ultimate squad player. We obviously had to reinforce our forward positions, so please welcome back Andre Gray. He snitched Dyche back in 2017, and since that parasite has been dethroned, he has come back to bang in the goals for Burnley. Tom Lawrence also has joined the club for a bargain price of £5 million. The Welsh international is basically Matt Ritchie, but in more advanced positions. He's a little weak-minded, but we can work on that. And finally, we completed the transfer for 34-year-old Chris Brunt, an experienced head that can fill in at left back, but more importantly, he knows how to whip in a good cross from set pieces. Here's the squad leading into our second pre-season game against Zurich. I went in bold with the squad selection, leaving out the newcomers. I figured it would be beneficial for the new players to watch from the bench and learn how we do it at this club. This mentality meant we played Lennon and the 16-year-old kid up front, Aggro Chuck on one wing, Westwood on the other. We were getting dominated from the early doors. Only a crucial save from Nick Pope was keeping us standing. Near the end of the half, Zurich got a corner. Mascherano whipped it in and a 2-foot Pokemon scored a header. Sick. The attack was non-existent, so I brought on the deadly triple threat of Gray, Lawrence and Ritchie to change the tides of the game. Those changes didn't do much, so I went deep into the strat book and switched to the offensive 4-4-2. We got a near instant highlight coming from Zurich as they exposed us using the flank and pretty much walked the ball into the goal. The game ended with us getting 0 highlights our way. Quite ashamed of that performance, but we need to move forward. There are still a few players coming through the pipeline that will hopefully turn the results around.